Well, what are we fixing today? Well, today I found a cool thing on Hacs that I would like to share with you. I see a lot of people using thru, but there is no official integration for thru. But I found a guy on Hacs. His name is Travis Hansen, and he came up with something really cool. Now, I'd like someday to see him push this into core. Should be able to. I don't know. It's not my thing, but it'd be great to not have to screw around for this and trust it a little more and stuff like that. But hey, everything works, and he continues to add to it. So I'm thinking that he might be testing it out, getting it leveled off, getting it to where it's working pretty good, where he's happy with it, and then work on getting it into core. Fingers crossed. Anyway, it works fine for me now. I don't use half the stuff it has, but there's all kinds of room in here for automations and to do things with your thru box and all kinds of stuff. I pretty much just use device tracker now. And it does what I want it to do. It lets me know what's going on with the server and how it's all going. So how about we go and take a look how to install this and use it. Let's go. Well, here is Home Assistant. I have the configuration page open, and we'll show you how to load this thing. It's in Hacs. I'm going to go over here to Hacs, right here. And it's an integration. So we go into integrations. And for me, it's right here. I already have it loaded and running. But for you, if you haven't looked at it in a while, it might be up here for the latest things that showed up since you last looked in here. The thru integration might be there. It might be down here if you already passed it and went by it. So look in those two places. You can try the search. But basically, it's the thru integration for Home Assistant that you're looking for. Once you get it, you go through the normal hack stuff and install it. Here's information about it. And this stuff is also on the GitHub page. But all the things you can do, we'll get over more of that later. But basically, you want to install this. Once it's installed, you come back over. We're going to go back to configuration here. And then we're going to look at integrations. Right there, see it? Boom. Integrations. And then you come over here and you say add in the bottom right corner, see it? Add integration. And you scroll down, look for thru. It should show up in here now. LMNOP. thru. This will be here then, after you install it from Hacs. Click on that. Here you put in the URL of your firewall box, your thru box. That goes in here. The login that you're going to use goes in here. The password that you're going to use in here. And I suggest that you set up in thru, if you have set it up, you know how to do this. Set up another user for this, a user that doesn't log in from any other way. That way you can kind of keep track of it. You can control it a little better. And then you give it a name, whatever name you want to show up in Home Assistant. That's it. After you do that, you submit. Bang. It goes and it does its thing, does its update. My suggestion is to, at that point, reboot Home Assistant. It may not be necessary, but it's probably a good idea. And after that, it comes back and you see come over here and you hit the shish kebab menu for the thru box here. And then you set up some system options. System options. You can decide if new addresses are added to the device list and if it's looking for new ones. And you can update. Where's the one here? Configure. You do configure. You say how often here we want it to go look for new devices. If you want to enable the device tracker at all, that's this one. And here are two little more advanced things that decide when something is there and when something is not. The first one, you said how often it'll look to see if if a device is still there. And once the device is not there, it'll wait this much time until it says it's away. So if you're using, I'll show you how I use that later. And then you would do a submit. And I don't need to do that because it just goes away. But that's the whole basic setup of the whole thing. Then, once you get that, you let it run for a while and it'll go find everything. Right? And for me, it's found all this stuff. 130 different things. Now, the ones that it recognizes, like my Tasmota devices, the MAC address is in the Tasmota information. So when it comes into here, it says, oh, yeah, I know what that is. I'm going to attach it onto that device. And then if you look at the device, you'll see it's also attached, which is pretty cool. And all the stuff down here that Home Assistant doesn't necessarily have the MAC address for, doesn't know exactly what it is listed here. So my suggestion would be, back in the configuration setup, if you go to the next screen, it'll say, do you want to include all devices or do you want to just include some devices? If you want to include some devices, it gives you a list of all of these and you get to check each one that you want to include. I am at the point of this where I didn't know which ones I wanted to exclude. Like, for instance, Expressive here, this is probably something that I want. This one too, I don't know what it is. It's probably a D1 Mini or something. Probably not running Tasmota, don't know. I probably want those. These are Google speakers, I probably want those. This is a phone, I want that, but I don't know exactly what it is yet. So you have to go in and kind of look at the MAC addresses here in the name, and then match it up in your pfSense box and figure out what it is, and then get the name down in here and then do stuff, and you can put it into an area and do all kinds of stuff. That's probably my next step, to exclude a bunch of this, because I don't need 100 and whatever. I don't need hundreds of entries in here. I just want the ones that I want, right? If you look in here, this is Travis's GitHub, and in here has that information of how to do what. And if you're looking through this, you'll see that this is the configuration things that we looked at. These are the options that I went over. And then the entities that are created, I showed you a bunch of those. It also creates 3 binary sensors that do this. Firmware is a variable, the CARP status, and system notices, in case you have a problem. Then the device tracker talks about that. And it's got these sensors. I'm not going to go through them all, but some of these are pretty cool. It also does switches, so that you can push a switch on Home Assistant and it'll like bring out the filter rules or turn them off or whatever this does. I haven't done anything with these switches, but they're here, and you can automate them. And then these are the services that are exported. All these you can use as triggers and use them in automations in other ways. So that's all cool, right? Wake on LAN, restart, pfSense, all kinds of stuff that you can do here, and automate your system using these switches. They're just imported. They're all part of the big picture, right? Now, you say, what do we use this for? Well, right now I have 3 phones in the house that travel with us. So I use these as part of the people presence. So let's go down here and look for people in zones. All right. And then we'll look at me. Now here I have 2 trackers. These device trackers here are pulled up from the pfSense integration. And then this is a Life 360 tracker. So this is what I use to tell if I'm here or I'm not. All right. Now, when we use this, let's see. Let's go into here. When you have those set up like that, the way it works is the Life 360 is got more precedence and you can read about this in the Home Assistant people thing, but when the person is not home, the GPS based, in my case it's Life 360, is got priority, and it looks at where they are all over the place. Once they get home, then the local device trackers have priority. So when my wife, let's go over here into Code Server. I have something pulled up here. This is my people thing. I got a glare here. Let me get rid of this. Here I have some automations for my wife mostly, because why would I automate when I'm home? I won't hear them and they don't care. Since I'm retired, I'm always home. So, you know, I picked these up from somebody online and I'm using them in here, but the trigger is zone. So when this person, Julie, is my wife, when she leaves where she's volunteering at, Katie's Closet, it puts out a message, and this script.tts mama, this is a blueprint I made. If I'll put a link to my blueprint for this down below. So now instead of having like the TTS and the script and the message and the language and the zone and I have a blueprint that kind of pulls all that, puts it somewhere else. And then here all I need is script TTS mama left Katie's. And then I do that same when she gets home, and when she leaves home, and when she leaves the nail place. So, you know, sometimes I got to have supper ready for her because, you know, she's working out now. I'm retired, so I get more work. So I'm doing the supper half the time. Something like that. It's all right. It's all good. But that's how you use it. And when she gets home, I found out that Life 360 doesn't necessarily trigger when she hits the home zone. It kind of delays until her phone is picked up by the Wi-Fi. And when the phone is picked up by the Wi-Fi, it flicks the switch and then you get to see it. So that's how that works. And here, and this here is everything. This is just the import YAML from the device. So these are all the things that I can see now. I can see my average load, my CPU usage, see pending notices. That's the duck DNS thing not working. So, and then I have several interfaces to the WAN, and I have, I think, 8 different Ethernet connections on my pfSense box. So this is all of those. Last time it was booted was last month when I updated pfSense, system temperature, all this stuff. So I can see all this stuff here now, and you know, it's awesome. But I'd like some help from you guys as to what I can use some of this other stuff here in this application, in this integration. Like, how can I use the switches? How can I do some of that stuff? So I'd like to start something up and let people know about that. I'll update this in my webpage, and you know, if you got something to share, we'll put it up there. I'll also have it on my Discord. So looking forward to hearing from you. Comments, you can put comments in the YouTube as well, and you know, I'll translate those over. So it's all cool. Let me know, and let's see what we can come up with this thing. I really love this stuff from Travis. It's awesome. And I tried to get him to put in a buy me a coffee thing on his. He said, no, I just want to help the community. I don't want that. Just, you know, I want to see you, you know, go ahead and tell everybody about it. That's awesome. So here I am, and that's what we're doing today. Well, that's it today. Short video. Something that I really wanted to share with the community, and I found cool, and I haven't seen anybody else talk about it, and something that is awesome. So hope I've helped everybody out with this, especially if you got a pfSense box. Let me know if it's helped you. Get back to me. Tell me how you're using this in your own setup, and you know, let's talk again later. Send me a like if you got anything out of this that's helpful, and subscribe. I need subscribers. It's all good. So until next time, thanks and have a nice time integrating. Bye.